Welcome everyone to another episode of the Lancescurv show. If you knew what I had to go through just a little while ago when I set this camera up and my lighting, which the lighting I had to take inside because I'm under an umbrella right now, so I'm not getting the natural light as I should. So this video may appear to be a little darker after my adjustments in the program than usual. Reason being why is a small cloud came over and drenched the whole yard. I mean, I didn't even have a chance to get up and really, I made it in barely. I grabbed the camera, grabbed everything electrical and ran inside. I was going to set it up under the carport. But even then, as I set up and got everything in perfect position, the sun came out again. And I like this spot right here. I mean, there are many little spots that I can go to, but I just like this spot right here. I'm very comfortable here. And the thing is that, I said it before, even in your own home, there are places in your home that you favor more, that you feel more comfortable in, you feel safer, and for whatever reason, even you may not know the reason. It's probably a spiritual thing, who knows? You know, that's got a lot to do with it, but you feel cozy. Like when you see a cat, if you have a cat in your home and that cat has a favorite place that they like to go to, they just gravitate toward that. Who knows the different variables that makes it that way? But, you know, in life, we all move toward what's comfortable to us, meaning that we gravitate toward not having confrontation, not being uncomfortable, feeling good, all of those things. Pleasure and pain is a highly motivational force in this world. And it's very humid here. The sweat is dripping off of me. It's hot. But I'm used to the hot, but it's just very humid. The rain came through, and there's going to be more precipitation around. So you might see me in action grabbing the camera and getting out of the way of moisture, because moisture and electronics don't really get along. So that being said, how we move toward this place of comfort, which is really a damaging thing if you're too comfortable, because you're not going to strive to grow. You're not going to strive to make yourself better because you're too comfortable. It was middleweight champion Marvin Hagler many years ago, I think it was back in the 80s when he was still fighting. He said, it's very hard to get up in the morning as a fighter in training to run when you're sleeping on satin sheets. And that's so true. So, you know, we don't really want to get into the comfort thing too much. I'm not saying to go sleep on the hard floor, the bare floor, and just go out in the woods like a survival type, you know, situation. But don't let yourself get too comfortable, which will make you soft in the end. And this is not really what I wanted to speak about. I really wanted to speak about, and we can take the comfort thing there, but really and truly what I'm seeing is a lot out here in the world. And what do I mean by that? Especially in our relationships with each other. It doesn't mean when I say the word relationship that it means that you're in a totally committed relationship or marriage and all this stuff, but how we deal with each other, how we relate to each other, relationship in that respect, leading up to all of those other things, no matter where they are. I mean, your mailman drops mail off at your door. You have a relationship with your mailman. And some mailmen that I've known, you know, they've told me about other relationships that have spawned off from dropping mail and dropping other things other than mail. You know what I mean? You know, I got jokes. But you have a relationship with your bus driver. You have a relationship with your cashier. You have a relationship with your doctor. You know, you have a relationship with these people in different capacities. And we can't assume that when we see somebody, and especially us as, you know, African people in America and all over the world, but I find that anybody who is around the European culture enough, we adopt the mindset that is not really conducive to having peace of mind, to being in harmony and balance. We come with some other stuff. And what do I mean? Just a little while ago, I took a walk out and went to the corner store. Not for nothing really, and it wasn't the corner store, it was a supermarket close by. I always say corner store, right? And there was a woman in front of me in the line, and there was a woman behind me. And the woman in front of me was a little older than me, but she was very pleasant. Very attractive lady, kept herself well. You could tell that she was eating well. And I'm one that when I get into the supermarkets, I kind of look down at what people have in their carts and see if what they eat matches the way they look. You know what I mean? It's real strange and not to get off the subject, but I'm just free-flowing for a little while. I saw a woman, and she was in fantastic shape. She looked like an Olympian. I mean, you could tell she weight trained and ran and did all the things, and she looked like she was a vegan. And she had nothing but junk in her cart. I mean, like pork and heavy meat and sugary drinks and donuts and honey buns and sugar, but she didn't look that way. And I had to ask her, I said, ma'am, I said, I'm not in your business, but I know you're an athlete. And the food, and she was pleasant, so I said, the food in your cart doesn't match the way you look. She said, you're right about that. She says, I'm buying this for my sister, and I always tell her about, losing weight or eating healthier. And she's sick right now. She had a heart attack not too long ago. She's back home, but she wanted this stuff, and she fought me down for it. And so I said, okay, I wasn't going to do it, but I went ahead and did it for her, because now I still have to have a talk with her. I said, I know, I could tell. Now, I've seen people, now let's get back to the woman behind me. She had one thing in her hand. I had several things. I mean, I had a good amount of stuff filling up. So I said, excuse me, miss, would you like to get in front of me? You only have one thing, and this is going to take a while. And she just looked the other way. So I looked at her, and she said, what? I said, if you'd like to get in front of me, I have a whole lot of stuff here. You can get out faster. She says, oh, these damn men will use any excuse to try to talk to you. I was talking to her. And that's the only way that I can communicate what I meant to offer her as a favor. And so I said, I was only asking if you wanted to get in front of me to not, I was already through, but I gave her one more chance just to, be friendly. And she says, no, I don't need to get in front of you. All you want to do is look at my butt anyway. I'm like, oh man, what a toxic ball of confusion. So I'm sitting here dumbfounded. And I didn't want to say anything more. So I just turned around and just dealt with my food. And I hear her on the phone. There's mosquitoes out here in the daytime. Dragonflies, where are you? She got on her phone. I don't know if she was speaking to an imaginary friend, because she started talking loud, but she had the phone in her hand, and I suspected that she wasn't on the phone with anybody. People do that sometimes. If they want you to hear them or what's on their mind, or even if they're speaking to somebody, they don't want to tell you something directly to your face, so they use the phone as a way of putting it out loud. Now, you're supposed to know what they are thinking. Now, I'm listening to her, but I wasn't going to respond because she had issues. The lady had issues. She was a sister, about maybe 49, 50, 48. She was the kind of woman that most men would, if they had the opportunity, they would go to bed with her. She, aside from her attitude, was somewhat attractive. Nothing to write home about. But she thought that she was this catch. She thought that maybe not just me, but all men were after her. But she got on the phone and then she said, oh, I'm sick and tired of these men always trying to hit on me. They want to get with me. They want to use me. They just want me for one thing. They think they slick. I got this dude in front of me saying if I want to get in front of him, I know what he wanted. He had his phone in his hand, and he wanted me in front of him so he can take pictures of my butt. I'm like, what kind of life did this woman live? So I checked out my things, took my bags, and I'm walking out. And as I'm walking out, because it wasn't too far, remember I walked there, and I went and actually bought more things than I thought. I would have drove if I knew I was going to get that many things, but it wasn't like it was heavy. It was just kind of cumbersome. So she made sure to come out, and she had her car parked in the direction I was going to. So she keeps popping it. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, you pop it, it's open one time. What is it continuous pops? She wanted me to look at the vehicle that she was getting into. And it was a very nice late model, if not the current year, convertible BMW. I said, wow, to myself, I said, that's a very nice car. I didn't know that it was her, but I did hear it popping. So in hindsight, I can tell you that it was her. So she was still talking on the phone. She says, I'm successful. These men can't do anything for me, especially these guys that are walking to the store. They don't have no car. They don't have nothing going for themselves. And yet and still these guys, even though they have nothing going for themselves, they married and they're going to try to get messed up with me. I don't understand it. I know I look good. Just the whole thing. So she's successful in her mind. She knows she looks good. She has a bad attitude, but I didn't get any feeling from her that she was doing anything illegal. So she probably had a business or something. But she had a really bad attitude. And my thing is that we're social creatures. And we desire the company and attachment and connectedness to other people, not even just the opposite sex. I'm not just talking romance, I'm speaking overall. But as far as the opposite sex is concerned, she had a thing about men because she didn't know me. If she knew me, she would know that I was not hitting on her. I mean, for crying out loud, she was behind me. And I saw that she had one thing. If I was a single man and if I was attempting to speak to her in a way to introduce myself into her life, it wouldn't have been from some cheap line like that. I would have spoke to her directly in a very cordial, safe manner. But we have damaged people out here, and let me say it now. I'm speaking from a man's point of view about some of our sisters, not all of our sisters. Let me say it again. Some of our sisters, not all of our sisters. I'm going to say it again. Some of our sisters, not all of our sisters, are like this. So don't get on me in the comment section. You know, there's going to be some who don't even hear that or don't want to hear that. And usually those are the ones who feel what I'm saying or about to say and are going to get angry. Why am I speaking about women? Well, what about the man? I'm speaking as a man from a man's point of view, but every principle that I speak about, now, you know, I shouldn't have to do this, but every principle I speak about is about men from a woman's point of view and women from a man's point of view. But since I'm not a woman and I'm kicking this camera like this, just got to woo myself, I can't go all the way in as a woman because I'm not a woman, okay? I'm not delusional that way. But again, it holds true for both sides. We have many, not all, many, not all, sisters out here who are severely damaged, who are very toxic. Those who are heterosexual and who would ultimately deep down like to be in a union with a man, not just a male. Those are hurting. They are hurting, but they still want that, and they'll tell you what they don't want. I don't want a man. I don't need no man. I don't want that. But if that's what you don't want, who's forcing it on you? There are people that I know that have Facebook group rooms and social media platforms where their whole thing is built up off of not wanting the black man. But you talk about it so much. So it kind of makes me feel that this is what you want. It's like the young girl in school or the young guy. It's interchangeable. Let's just say it's a guy and he keeps messing with this young girl in class. They're in second grade, third grade. He pulls on her hair. He's always in front of her. Eventually he calls her ugly and he's giggling. Oh, you ugly. You ugly. Why are you focusing on this person? It's because you're interested in them. If you talking about how black men are so bad on YouTube, on Facebook, in your comments, and you have that attitude, that tells me if that dominates your mind, then that's something that you want. If all I spoke about out of nowhere on the Lancescurv channel Oh, these gay men. Oh, these gay men. This the gay man did. The gay man did that. This gay man today said something to me. I didn't like it. This gay man walked around. He tried to look at my butt. This gay man smiled at me at the red light. And gay man, gay man, gay. So that's some indication of what might be on my mind, if that's all I talk about. So we have these women who have platforms and just in regular life, and they talk about, blackmail this, blackmail that, and how bad they are. And I've known a couple out here who have built their whole platform around the anti-black man movement. But yet and still, I can hear from little birdies in their personal life how much they would love to have a man in their life. But they can't now turn around and say that because they're following of angry, disgruntled, hurt, imbalanced sisters. And I hate to say these words, but we have to deal with it. If you're eating in a way that's clogging up your arteries, I'm going to ignore it. Would I rather you just eat and ignore it and find out that you had a massive heart attack and died? Or would I want to intervene and try to help you come out of that way of eating that's a certain death? We have so many of our sisters that are toxic. And I will say this, just like the Minister Farrakhan said many years ago, and it rang true. Whenever you find a woman that the world will say, oh, she got an attitude, she's no good, it's because of a no good man. I agree with that. They didn't get this way by themselves. So we have to take the blame and the responsibility for this. But we don't have to take or deal with it without them who are dealing with us if they're in our inner circle or any one of our circles. Well, I'll pick the keys up later on. No more than we should. It's accountability. And many of our sisters, and again, you can flip this back to the brothers, sisters who don't understand. If you somehow got to this part of the video and didn't hear my disclaimer, I'm not speaking of all my black African sisters. I'm speaking about some of them who fit the description. If this doesn't fit the description, then move on. Or listen and agree or disagree. Right? But there are so many of us that are so sick and tired of having to deal with handling the weight of what was done. If you get into that level of toxicity, my sister, you have a big problem. You will never find a good man. Oh, you'll find them, but you'll never have one for yourself that will sit back and tolerate this toxic attitude. For what? No, I'm not saying like others who are out there in the world, well, I'm just going to run to my white woman. No, unacceptable, brother. There are enough good African women here in America and all over the world who don't have that funky attitude. So don't use a bad experience that you had with a sister who was a bit too toxic and didn't seem to want to work on herself to run over to the other side when you had plans to run into the other side anyway. You know how many YouTube revolutionaries and social media brothers who are rah, 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 the black woman and all this, and they don't deal. They'll tell you, that they don't deal. They got caught out there, many of them, and they're exclusive with that. And many of these white women who are aware of the status and ideology of many of these brothers who are either on social media or some public or semi-public platform that, oh yeah, they're all about the black movement and the black woman. It's the biggest joke when that white woman sees you coming to them in lust and going against everything you spoke about. That's a victory in her mind for her race. They get a tickle out of that. And I'm speaking about my sisters, but I'm going to have to now, since I brought that part up, let me finish it. You know, when you have these, you have the terminology of the dating apps and the ads, and these things have been around, not the apps, but dating platforms, newspapers, back in the day, early stuff online. And you may have that Caucasian woman who desires a discreet relationship with an African man. And I find it so funny that in their terminology, they would say that they are looking for a well-hung black man, meaning that his sexual organs are larger than most. But well-hung? Well-hung? When you look at the trees and wonder what strange fruits hung off of them, that black men were hung all across this country, and they have so many thousands and thousands and thousands of hangings documented, but you got to wonder which ones weren't. I'm willing to bet that there were even more hangings that are undocumented. So here you are as a black man telling this white woman, I'm well hung. Well, you deserve to be, because when you go that way, you know, according to this government, they're not over that yet. This is what they want to do to you in one way or another. But you get a thrill because you feel you're going up in forbidden fruit. You got strange fruit and you got forbidden fruit. And when you seek to take a bite of the forbidden fruit, it's unfortunate that in America, spelled with 3 Ks, you end up being strange fruit. But here you are as a well-hung black man, just ready to show this white woman your sexual prowess, your vitality, your virility, and all you are is a tool. But you're a willing tool, because your mentality is no more than that one who was on the plantation, that slave to that treacherous master. Every time you caught a glance of that white slave master's wife, you hoped the wind blew to raise up the dress to see the legs that he's enjoying getting between. And you know, for you to even think that it's a sure death. You know that. So for the sick mind of the slave who wants the oppressor's wife, it's a joy and a twisted thrill. And for a moment he feels as though he's in charge, because on each side of him are those pretty white thighs. And in between them, you know what I'm talking about. So many of us are so willing, and we push our chests out when we're seen with a white woman, no matter what she looks like. See, that white man, he's going to get the cream of the crop. He's going to get a sister that you're like, damn, I would love to have her, but she went with the white man. But us brothers who have that mind of exclusively going after the white woman because of whatever reasons that he has to get back at the sisters, because he feels he was done wrong, just like that toxic sister beforehand that I was speaking about, that had a thing against black men, but that's all she talked about. I know so many like, oh, the black men ain't good. Oh, the black man this, the black man this, the black man that. So he is in public now, and he's eyeballing all the sisters like, let me see one looking at me now, and I'm going to walk by them with this white woman on my arm with a smirk on my face. I can now walk superior because I have been accepted, so he thinks, in the white world, and I have my white trophy wife, and I'm holding the door for her. Yes, look, sisters, I'm in the mall parking lot. We have all these bags of me paying for stuff for my little white Twiggy, and I'm holding the door up, and I'm looking at you with a smirk, like to say, you could have had this. I know people like that. I know a lot of people like that. I'm not saying all black men, but I'm saying some. This started out about the sisters, so we'll just roll wherever I go. This is kind of a rant. It's not a rant. It's too hot out here to rant, but I love it. I've been out from the sun, in the sun when I woke up, and now it's like, I'm just getting more of it. And we got a few more hours of it, although I'm going to do some shows today, live. So we are bouncing around, mentally sick, throwing off something that indicates that we've been hurt really bad, damaged really bad, through some bad trauma, but we don't want to heal. There are reasons for everything. And I love to sit back and look at everyone in public, not everyone where I'm studying everybody and watching everybody crazy, making people uncomfortable. Is he thinking about me? Is he watching me? I invited him to this party, but is he analytical and making fun of me? No, I don't do that. But with many of us, we give away so much that it's obvious for a mind like mine to see what things really are. And we give indications, just like the umbrella spilled all this water in my lap. But don't hit the camera now, okay? We give indications away anyway of what we're about and what we have in our heart. But one has to be keen and have the spirit of, the gift of discernment, and that spirit of being able to see past what you put out on the surface. So we have this black woman who is in the parking lot now, who gets into the BMW, and she made sure that when she swung around, I was on kind of the right side, walking near the way out onto the sidewalk. She made sure to come from the left side where she was and spin right in front of me and blast the music and just look at me victoriously, cross my path and turn around and go back down the left side, which means she could have just went off the left side, but she wanted me to see her. I understand. Many of us with low self-esteem want to be seen. So me being a little pauper boy, little bum that has a wedding ring on in her mind, who has nothing, who's not about nothing, but all I was about is getting a picture of her butt, her backside, by offering her to get in front of me in the line. And it blew up in her mind, and she had to make an imaginary phone call because I didn't hear anything ring. Maybe she dialed out, but she kept talking. She didn't give the other person a break. Even when she was talking, she was saying, yeah, girl, ain't that the truth? What you think about it? Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Like, okay, what you think about it? And yeah, that's a good thought. That's a good point. But between what you think about it and that, it was like not even a second. So you know what it was. And so this other thing that plagues us as a people is this idea of success, right? I'm successful. Well, you say this to yourself, but on what scale? And on your scale, when you say that you're successful, for that scale that you're on, or that standard of measurement, on that same standard of measurement, might there be someone who is more successful according to your standard? And like I said on the show last night, success to me is relative. It's what you make it. Okay, we got the leaves dropping all this water on me. So if I'm already sweaty, so what does it matter? Let the water fall. It's only nature. It's blessing me. But we walk around and we get angry that when we feel we reached what we consider success, and for the most part, there are those who feel that it's only about material gain. There are some who feel us being accepted into a society that doesn't want us or wants to kill us off or despises us as we are used as a token Negro. When they get into those positions, they feel successful. You know, the majority, I would say, think that success is material items. I have the house, I have the car, I have this, I have that. Meanwhile, we have other people who are trying to get away from the house or the car and the car note and the big mansion because you're not really living for yourself. You're fighting your own demons. You're fighting old demons. I don't say that about anybody who may be black, who African, who may drive a nice luxury car or a BMW. I'm not going to assume that about you. But I've seen too many who are like that. And we value or view our success through the lens or through the eyes of the European. We will do anything to get that status. And when we come with the trappings, after feeling that we finally reached that level of success, and we go to the white man. Okay, there is no the white man, like the one guy who whatever. We know it's the system, y'all. And it's a lot of white men out here and white women who the system favors them, so they're going to uphold it. So here we are in our subconscious way screaming to society, I'm not the typical nigga because I've made it. I've made it on your job. I've made it as far as my accrual of the material goods and items out here in the world. And when you get your NIGGER wake-up call, you don't understand how it can happen. Because surely, man, there's a lot of water dripping off this bad boy, right? Because surely I made it. I'm not poor anymore. I went to their schools and mastered their education. And I feel I'm several steps above the common Negro. And you know that. I straighten my hair. I allow you to see my cleavage because I know you like me that way. How is it? And now they are hurt. And now they're angry. Because, you see, you got to realize that you threw off on your own in the same manner and tried to make them feel the way you felt because your standard of success was material and to be up in a system and in a society that doesn't want anything to do with you. So now you look back in your past and you realize, yes, you've been burned by a few brothers. But I'm not going to say this is the case in every case. Remember, this is just general conversation. And again, I'm not speaking about all my sisters. I'm speaking about some, right? Now they are hurt from the brothers that hurt them. And now they are hurt in the same manner by, or the way you hurt them, other brothers, not the ones who hurt you, right? But the other brothers who came at you in a very civil and decent and pure manner with pristine intentions, you have chased them away because the scars that you hold from being burnt from the other brothers out there are not healed yet. And this is a problem. This is a problem with us. After relationships have ended, we don't take time and heal ourselves up. You got to understand that when you're in a relationship, and when you get into a relationship, there are unseen energies that are wrapping around you from that other person. There are unseen energies from you wrapping around that person. You begin to bond with them. You begin to bond with them. You get into relations on a sexual level. You are bonding with them truly, especially when, and I'll say it in a decent manner, the powerful exchange of ingesting that significant other's fluids. Now you have their DNA, now you have their essence, now you have their excitement, their hormones inside of you. So not only is it a mental thing, emotional thing, it's physical and it's spiritual. This is what I heard. Maybe I can't explain it the way that I'd like to. But they said if you kissed a girl, if you're a man and you kissed a girl, or you're a female woman, a girl who kissed a boy in elementary school, quick, just mwah, mwah. Maybe the French kissing went on a little bit. They can trace that. There are remnants of that person's DNA inside of you, and it becomes a part of you. So now imagine these people who are out here doing all kind of freakish things. Their mouth has been on every orifice, top, bottom, front, and back on your body. The feeling that you cause in the other person because of your erotic rampage on their nerve endings has left them bonded to you and open to you in a very unseen manner. And we take this lightly. So with all the multiple partners that we've had, knowing that they're still a part of us, no matter what the degree of physical connection, and I do believe that I can say I know, but I can't prove it, but I do know this, not believe. I'm trying to get rid of that word. That you're still connected to them, whether there was no physical contact or not, because strong emotional exchange creates a bond. And now you wonder why people are out here being diagnosed, and this is not always the case. This is my theory. I'll admit that we're being diagnosed with bipolar. For what? But what you mean bipolar? It's that many that have been diagnosed being bipolar because of the mood swings and in the daytime, they can go through different. I mean, they can be euphoric in the morning and downright depressed in the evening, ready to pull the trigger or jump off a building. I feel that these people have not disconnected from the people that they're still connected to from prior relationships or prior one-night stands or prior whatever, everything in between. And they have not disconnected. This is why I say you're supposed to take time and disconnect, heal yourself up, and close down those open portals that you afforded this person who is still connected to you. Close them down. Detach and then close them down. But we don't do that. We think because a month went by, we didn't have sex. Well, I'm aroused. I'm horny. I met somebody. It's my right to do so. Yes, it's your right to screw yourself up because you're merely desiring a physical release with no commitment. But whether you like it or not, a commitment is made when you release physically with somebody else. And this is why you end up like that woman that I saw in the supermarket, clogged up because she didn't cleanse herself, toxic beyond measure, but she'll never see it. It's everybody else's fault. It's the black man's fault. When they talk this way, trust me, they got work to do. And this goes for men and women, although I started out speaking about that sister. And with the men, it's not all, but it's some. When I'm in public with Mrs. SCURV, there are a lot of women who look at us. I'm not going to say in envy. I don't think too high of myself, but it's strange for them. He's opening the door for her. He's carrying things for her. Look who's paying at the cashier for all the groceries. Look, with Mrs. SCURV and Lancescurv, wherever we get our monies from, different streams of income, it goes to one pot. It's all in one account. There are different accounts in the whole bank account, but it goes to different accounts, but it's still one big account. So it doesn't matter who is standing there at the register with the card paying for the items purchased. We are one. That's the way it's supposed to be, isn't it? But we have people who will stand on the sideline and nitpick and make up imaginary situations. I used to go out a lot and videotape in the street and talk to people and ask questions. Sometimes you run into people that you know. I've always said I don't care what something looks like. I'm going to move forward because I know what it is. So one night I was downtown in Orlando and ran into a passenger of mine who, on first sight, one never knew that she was built that way, but it wasn't my concern anyway. So she saw me and she told me that her money was low. She couldn't afford a taxi home. I said, no problem, I got you. I said, I'm getting ready to do one more segment. I have a brother over there who went to the bathroom. He's coming out. We're going to record him. I'm going to head on back. I was planning on heading back home, but you're along my way, because she asked me. But I said, even if you weren't, I'd rather you get home safe than hearing of a story on the news the next day. So while she was standing next to me, not next to me, up under me, but she was near me, and I ran into other passengers and other people that I knew from working in the jail who are not residents of there anymore. They came to the other side. Hey, man, I got to do what you do. I said, what are you talking about? I said, you can do it. You can learn and take your time and learn. No, man, you don't get me what I'm talking about. That's what you're talking about. He nudged me and over there. I said, no, man, she's just, I can't say a friend, but she's somebody I know very well over the years, and I'm going to give her a ride home. He said, oh, man, see, you with that BS, man. You going to take her home. I said, I'm just dropping her home. And I said, man, listen, let me do what I'm doing. I knew the guy. Always trying to bring it there. So I folded everything up after I was done, drove on, took her in, waited for her to go in. She waved, she opened the door. I waited for her to close the door, and I began to take off. All of a sudden, within the next few days, I get calls. Hello? Hey, man, did you smash that? I smashed a beetle in the backyard by mistake when I walked outside, but what are you talking about? Man, that girl, well, who is this? Yo, you know me off of Facebook. I know that girl. She got a man. Well, the one downtown you're talking about. Why didn't you walk up and say anything? And complicated story. He wasn't getting along with her man. They were friends, blah, blah, blah. He wanted to know did I smash that? It's like, why does it always have to come down to that? That's so sickening. That's all you can think about. When we all have collective talents and abilities, we are our own battery, like I always say. Some of us have full batteries because we know how to conduct ourselves and live in a way that it brings us rest, it brings us an abundance of life force, because that's really what it is. But it's always got to be on the lower vibrations. Yes, sex feels good. It feels damn good. The things that people do, some people do some things, some people don't do some things. But when you're getting what you've been craving and they hit that spot, it goes all up in the back of your head and have your toes curling, and you just laying there like that happy puppy who he loves you so much he lays down on the ground and lays on his back and paws up in the belly out. So some of us get what we want, we just fast asleep in the fetal position, just that's how good that thing hits you. But how long does that last? Does that build community? Does that mean that the person that you're having this good feeling is right for you? Are they conducive to you being a better you at the end of the day, at the end of the year? Are you bringing something to the table for them to help make them better? Is this something where it's a dual benefit? They say this thing called friends with benefits, but all you are doing is using each other to masturbate yourselves with. Because that's all it is. It's just physical release. The expulsion of bodily fluids. And you think you got something going on, you might as well stay at home and get that jar of Vaseline. That's all it is. But you're bonded with this person now. And you wonder why the divorce rate, especially in the black community, African community, is so high. Because we seek each other out on the level of lust. We seek each other out because the person at the club that night or walking down the street or in the supermarket was appealing to the eye. Oh, we want that. If you asked a child, 6 years old, 5 years old, we're going to go shopping, we're going to go to the supermarket, we're going to have two carts. We're going to have a cart that mommy or daddy or both of us are going to fill up for the things we know that we need. And we're going to have a cart for you that whatever you want, mommy or daddy's not going to stop you. But you can fill up that cart with whatever you want, as much as you want. In one cart now, if you can pile it up 6 feet high over the cart, that's fine. And as that child walks down the aisle, now no 5 or 6-year-old might push a cart. Maybe they will. But the choices that they make, because they don't understand nutrition, they don't understand foods that keep you healthy, they're dealing with what they see for the tip of their tongue as far as something sweet and sugary and salty. So they fill up their cart with sugary ice cream, sugary cakes, oily potato chips, sugary drinks, all the things that are bad for you, that will embalm you. You're walking around alive and you are embalmed and swollen, like a body that was laying out in a pond for 4 or 5 days. So they don't know. So many of us are just like that kid. We see something, we want it. We see that, we want that. We see this, we want this. And it would never work out because you're not thinking the long term, you're not thinking below the surface. And this is what we do in relationships. We get so caught up in the surface, in the body. What happens when the body goes? If a person has a nice body and they take care of their body and they do the exercises and eat the good food, it's nothing wrong when you're in a committed relationship to see that person and say, wow, I'm loving what I'm seeing. But that should not be the first and foremost requirement when you're dealing, because you don't know what hell they have on the inside. I'm not saying just go for people who don't keep themselves up. No, that might indicate other issues if they don't keep themselves up. But when it's so fanatical and so you're looking for this perfection, and this person has created themselves into what would we say the closest thing to physical perfection, is it that they love themselves and they want to take care of themselves that way, or are they using their body as a weapon? You go to a club where there are a lot of what they call it high rollers, men with lots of money. And yes, you have women with lots of money who are targeted too by men who are trying to use them. But let's just speak about these clubs where it's known that these guys are driving Lamborghinis, these guys are driving luxury vehicles that you can't see anywhere else. They own companies and they go in there, and they're actually going in there to pick up women who they can use for their thrills. Now we have a woman who's going in there to gold dig. You have another man who's going in there to mess with the gold diggers and see what he can get before he gets caught by them. He doesn't mind spending a little money for his fun. So it's a game, a surface game that never lasts in the long run. You never. Now you might tell me I'm wrong, but maybe you know somebody who fits the category. But I'm telling you, those type of unions that are built on lust. Hey girl, look at that backside. Ooh, God, that little waistline. Them things are fighting gravity. Look at them lips. Man, look at them legs, them heels, and the miniskirt. Okay, you looking at it that way. Maybe, just maybe, you go to the club, brother, and you meet somebody like that, and you've been married now for 25 years. I don't think so. I don't think so. Unless you both met that way, and you began to develop on a mental and emotional and spiritual level, and you came out of that. That could happen. But pretty much when you come at a woman like that, brothers, no matter how perfect you think it looks, you look the next day, there's something better on that scale of a low vibrational lust. So you're never satisfied. You are never satisfied. And it ain't going to happen. You know, some people stay together for necessity. They may not love each other, but it's convenient for them to shack up and share the rent and share these things. There's all kind of reasons. But many of us expect to have a long-term relationship while not cleansing ourselves, while not making ourselves better, and while not trying to raise our vibration. And this is when you have the attitudes like that. Now, I threw out a whole lot of stuff, non-directional. It's hot out here. I'm pretty much high off of the sun. I mean, I'm sitting out here just like, yeah, okay, whatever. You can feel my energy and know that I'm real laid back right now. But I want to speak on these different scenarios as far as relationships. I want to hear what you have to say about what I said. I want to hear what you have to say about your experiences or things you've observed with other people. And I want to have discussions about it, shows about it. I'll even address it in the video. Okay? Throw something at me. SCURVmedia@gmail.com or text it to me 407-590-0755. Because we can go in with, what is it that I say? Surgical precision on any of these. And we have so many different types of people out here, so many sicknesses within our people out here, but we work so hard to appear to be normal, which there is no normal, but that facade of normal, but we don't want to work on our inside to even approach a healthy standard. So maybe I should rephrase that, since normal doesn't exist. It's an imaginary place that we all meet up in, and it's gone once we're gone. But we should aspire to have healthy relationships. That's what it is. That we work hard to appear healthy. Some of the most dysfunctional people that you could ever know. They come to a job and act normal, or act like they have a healthy life and healthy relationships. And some of them are the most dysfunctional people that you ever want to meet. They look so nice and they dress and they put their makeup on, but their house is funky and dirty. They have attitudes when they're not around people that they can't use. If they can't use you, you're an underling. They don't like you. But their face springs up in such a convincing manner when there's somebody that they can use. And this is men and women. Brothers, you're the same way. A lot of you brothers are not even into the woman, but you're using the woman for what you can get. Some of you have no place to live, or couldn't find a good place to live because of the money that you make is real low. I'm not putting you down, but we have a lot of situations out there like that. So they're like, okay, I'll just go on to live with her, but I'll keep on cheating. What good is that? So we have to address a lot of these dysfunctions in the African community, prisoners of war, stolen Africans, because it's not going to be good for us. Because if we don't build on a strong, healthy foundation, what do our children have to look forward to? They're already, if the foundation is crooked and they're used to seeing dysfunction, well, guess what? That's their life. That's what they're going to continue to see, and they're going to keep on going with what they saw growing up. Like that woman or young man who grew up in a household where they had an alcoholic father that beat up the mother, and the mother took it, didn't say anything. And they were hurting when they saw the mother beat up that way, but that is normalcy for them. So now they go out into the world, and that same woman who was, as a child, saw this. Many can break the chains now of dysfunction, but that's normalcy for them, and they gravitate toward that. As a matter of fact, since the father is the first example of manhood to that sister, when that new man that was polite, but she sensed an aggression about him that turned her on, the minute that he's aggressive with her in the bedroom, taking what he craves on a lustful level, or even putting his hands on her in a way that is abusive, but somehow in a twisted way, it turns her on. She loves it. Oh, I love it when you're so rough with me like that. Pull my hair, force my head down. Oh, I love it. And it stems from that. And so men who grew up in that situation may want to get a wife that's subservient to their whims and who will take their foolishness because they saw their mother do that. Now, it's always not written in stone. So don't take me there where you're going to say, oh, well, it's not always. We understand that we have some brilliant sisters and brothers who've grown up in some really bad situations, and they use their mind to overcome and change the narrative of how their life is going to go. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And that's really why we're having this conversation now, to address the dysfunctions that we have. I'm feeling sleepy. I'm feeling intoxicated. I'm even slurring my words right now. I'm going to get ready to go inside. I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm going to do a show or two. I think I have like two shorter ones and one longer one tonight. So all I want to say is much love to my sisters. Salute to my warrior brothers. Understand that life can be complicated. We have to be equipped by reflecting and meditating and having healthy conversations to let us know what is outside in this world waiting for us in a very shrewd and well-masked way. And also to just having the common sense, which is uncommon, and observing and taking your time and not be or allow yourself to be led into a situation, and this goes for men and women, to be led into a situation because your loins were on fire. The society keeps us juiced up. We keep seeing very sexy pictures on the billboards and in the magazines, on the commercials, on social media. Links are popping up. And guys like, oh my God, my woman never did that to me. Let me click this and see what it's all about. And there's somebody across town who's looking at the same stuff, but it's a woman and she's all juiced up, seeing something that titillated her. Now you're in a line of Walmart or a supermarket and you're talking to each other and you both have that feeling inside of you, knowing that you shouldn't go there, but you go there. Hey girl, take my number. 2 days later, you know, not only did she take the number, but she took a whole lot more. And when the baby comes and you have to tell your wife and she has to tell her husband, you could have avoided that. Oh man, I've seen a lot, I've been through a lot, and I can tell you so much. I speak from experience, and I can sit here all day because I don't have to make this stuff up. This is reality. We don't need soap operas. We don't need these little movies that we see on Facebook and on social media, which they're very amusing. And maybe we do need them because they have a message in them at the end of the day to force you to think. And that's one of the things I pride myself being, thought-provoking. Always thought-provoking. Make you think. You don't have to like me. You don't have to whatever. Yeah, like the video if you want to. Share the video if you want to. Do all of those good things, but understand that I'm always going to speak raw truth here. That's what this channel is all about. And that's what I'm all about. Much love to my sisters. Salute to my warrior brothers. Did I do that before already? I hate to leave without it, but I did it again. Anyway, I'm going to go inside and kill half of this seeded watermelon that I have and replenish my tissues. And I'm going to make a call or two to see who's ready to get the show done. And we're going to create another conversational masterpiece that's thought-provoking, that'll help to get you elevated to another level, right? Incrementally is my word. Anyway, Lancescurv out, on to the next one. Thank you for your time here. There is so much more to come. Thank you.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at Lancescurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under Lancescurv.
I lost my love. We're gonna move to the groove. My loaded. I lost my love. We're gonna move to the groove. My loaded. I lost my love. Lost my love. We're gonna move to the groove. My loaded. I lost my love.